How's it going? I'm Jared Gillis. Welcome to another All About RVs. Today, we're going to be talking about two simple upgrades that we're going to do to the RV to make it just a little bit safer. So starting off, these two little modifications really aren't that difficult, but the first one's definitely more expensive than the second one. And the first one is the Fireslayer. It's a fire suppression tube that when it has a flame around it, it will burst and put out the fire that's in the area. So it's good in small, compact areas. So that's why I wanted to put one behind the fridge, because the fridge is one of those things. There's been a lot of recalls. There's been a lot of fires with RV fridges, these absorption refrigerators. So this will just give me a little bit of peace of mind back there. Now, this isn't the only brand that puts out these tubes to be able to suppress the fire in these compact situations. Protang is another system that is out there. You have to go to them and have them install it. I'm kind of a DIY guy. I think their product is amazing, and I do see why they want to install it themselves, because there are some things you want to consider when installing this. So the kit that this came with is it came with clamps to be able to clamp it back there. They don't want this rubbing around in there and chafing and having it break, because there's so much vibration that it works through this outer sheathing here. So we do want to consider that. We don't want it to be up against anything sharp. And we do have a gauge on here. They did say that you should mount that in a place where you can check on that occasionally. So they said it'll go from 0 to 15 depending on if it's warm or cold outside. So it is a gauge that you can check. This thing will last for about 5 years. Now, one of the intended uses for this is to be able to use it in an engine compartment. So it can handle a decent amount of heat, and it's rated for down to negative 35 degrees Fahrenheit. So it can handle this outside area behind the fridge. So we're just gonna go through here, use the clamps because they're coated so that it's not going to mar up this pipe, and we're gonna support it back in there. We don't really want it touching anything that's gonna get extremely hot, so they say to keep it away from like mufflers and stuff like that. So we want it close, but we don't want it touching any kind of burner assembly. Now, this isn't complicated, but it can be a little bit difficult trying to get these clamps in there. So I'm just getting a hole started, and I'm using this to be able to screw in the screw. You can even, if you had a 1/4 inch on the end of that, so if you were putting in just like a normal screw, you can still do that. So that's just a little tip for trying to get this in there. You can get an electric one, but this one didn't cost me anything and it's working just fine. So just a quick tip for you, if you're gonna be working on the back of the fridge, like installing something like this, it's best just to turn off the fridge, because the back of the absorption refrigerators, they do get hot. The pipes get hot. That's how it works. So, but we have it all secured in there. We can have our gauge on the side that we can readily see. And we're just gonna put the covers back on, and we're gonna move on to number 2.